How to wholesale a pre-foreclosure lead step by step. Guys, it's Rick Ginn, and today I'm going to show you how to find the pre-foreclosures, how to market to them, how to have the conversation with them, and more importantly, how to get it sold. So guys, if you want to learn all about pre-foreclosures and you want to get the truth to wholesaling, do me a favor, share this video with other people, maybe click the subscribe button, and if you got value from it, hit that like button. So let's get into it. What is a pre-foreclosure? Well, the word pre means before, and a foreclosure is when a property goes to auction and gets sold. Why would a bank want to foreclose on someone when a borrower does not make regular payments for the loan they've been given to the house? The bank has the right and the paperwork to foreclose, which means they can seize the asset and sell it at auction to recoup their losses. So everybody asks, hey, Rick, how do I find pre-foreclosures? One of the biggest mistakes people make in pre-foreclosures is they go down to the courthouse and they ask the clerk, can I get your pre-foreclosure list? And somebody at the courthouse eventually says, I don't even know what you're talking about. And you start scratching your head and go, man, Rick and Zach don't know what they're talking about. So the word pre-foreclosure is a description wholesalers use to describe a type of lead. Outside of the wholesale world, it really doesn't exist. If I were you, I would go to the courthouse and look for a notice of default, also called an NOD, or a list pendants. These are all public records, and you can ask simply at the courthouse to ask for these types of cases. Get the most recent ones. Now, the good news is most of these cases, since they're public, you can get access online, which is really, really great news. So those are two easy ways you can easily pull the pre-foreclosure list. If you want the super express, easy way and do it from the comfort of your own home or home office, go over to xleads.com, get a basic account, and you can easily pull the pre-foreclosures. You can sort them by the most recent file date. And that's what we like to do in our company. Go to xleads.com to figure out how to handle that. Let me quickly go over the pros and cons of wholesaling pre-foreclosures. Now let's start with the bad. The first one is most people in pre-foreclosure are procrastinators and they don't want to make a decision. Number one, because they're scared. So if you want to help these people out, understanding it's going to be one of the biggest issues you deal with, and you have to expect it and you have to learn how to navigate through it. I'll show you how to do it in the conversation part. Number two, there's a lot of denial when it comes to pre-foreclosure. So a lot of people who are in pre-foreclosure, not by choice, nobody chooses to ever go to pre-foreclosure, but you have to understand there's two ways to do it. You either attack it head on, like you and me do, how we do our wholesaling business, or there's a big percentage of the United States population that when they have a problem, they just run from it, they hide from it, and even worse, they ignore like it doesn't even exist. And they go, listen, I'm living here rent-free, I'm not making a payment, this is perfect. They're procrastinating and they're not dealing with the situation. You know at the end it's going to be painful for them. Your job is to help the sellers get out of their own way. Next one, which is a big issue, is you don't want to market the properties that have little to no equity. Now, you have to somewhat guess on it and you can look it up each case. But the reality is, if it is the late stages of pre-foreclosure, they haven't made any payments, they're years behind, there's huge lawyer fees, and they're holding the house hostage by living in there, odds are there's going to be little to no equity. That's why they're riding it out. Honestly, if you don't know if there's any equity in the property, I don't want you to waste time because these people will all talk to you. Most of them are in denial and they're huge procrastinators. If there's little to no equity, you're literally wasting your time. I want to help people, but there's got to be a path to get the house sold, to get the seller free of the foreclosure, and a path for you to make a profit. If there's not, you're simply wasting your time. Do not chase down properties with what we call upside down equity because there is nothing you can do, say, wave a wand to fix it. I know you think, well, I can do a short sale. I go, guys, listen, short sales, the banks have set it up where it's completely one-sided. Most of them have a 90-day restriction, and it's going to kill your possibility of wholesaling that pre-foreclosure. So make sure when there's little to no equity, if it doesn't make sense, just walk away from it. Don't market to those types of properties. Now, the last one is disclosures. When people are in distress, each state has particular laws to make sure someone who's in distress has rights, and you need to honor them. So for the sake of time, look up your state laws for distressed homeowners, people in foreclosure, and make sure you give them their rights. The bottom line is you can give them all the disclosures in the world. You have to hold their hand all the way till the closing, because anytime that person in pre-foreclosure wants to get out, you've got to let them out. You're going to have no legal claim. And honestly, it's never going to stick in court. And make sure you're doing business with people that truly want to help their situation. Avoid the people who want to manipulate to extend their procrastination. You have to know the difference. Listen to the story if it doesn't make sense and they just want to milk it till the very end. Move on to the next person that actually wants your help. So let's talk about marketing to people in pre-foreclosure. This is kind of the easy part in my opinion. The number one way you can do it if you're doing it locally in your market is belly to belly and do it virtually. Makes sense, right? Remember, when you're in front of someone, you have much more of an impact because communication, more than half of it is going to be based. You can do it on the phone, but the best way to do it is what we call reverse driving for dollars, putting sticky notes on the door. Yes, it takes time, but you get a great response rate. And the ones that want to work with you usually call you back. It's an incredible efficiency of your time, and it really ups your chances. I go back to the days when I started in wholesaling, and I used to door knock pre-foreclosures. Guys, it was not easy. I knocked on every door. And if I knew about reverse driving for dollars, I could have been much more effective. So learn from my mistakes and take advantage of the tools you have in 2024. For those of you doing it virtually or you want to be more systematic about it, cold calling is perfect. You just have to skip trace the numbers. If you want, you can go through xleads.com. You can manually skip trace them for free. You can simply go online and use any of the services we recommend over at freewholesaling.com. It's going to take more time, but it's free. If you don't have the money, you're going to have to put in the time. And if you have some money, you can go to like a site like xleads.com and go ahead and skip trace those numbers out of convenience. You're simply going to call them up. Another popular way is texting, but let me stress this on texting. You can get a ton of volume done, but at some point you're going to have to convert them from a text to the phone call. Do not try to close people, especially in a pre-foreclosure situation via text. You got to get them on the phone. So now we get down to the conversation, one of the hearts locking up a pre-foreclosure deal. And let me tell you this is more important than ever that you understand that God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. You have to carefully listen to your seller's problems. I know you think you know it all and you know they're in pre-foreclosure, but they want to tell you what the story is. The key in getting a great deal in a pre-foreclosure is letting your prospect, the seller, reveal their story, reveal the pain it's caused them, the bank, the loss of job, maybe it's the loss of a loved one. It hurts. They didn't choose to be in this situation, so respect them. There's nothing better than letting somebody, there is nothing better to a person who's in pain is talking to another person who will listen to them. Be that ear, listen to them. It pays off. You might sit there for an hour or two. I'm sorry, but this is part of the deal. And you are going to pick up amazing skill sets by doing it. But listening is probably the most important skill set you can learn with pre-foreclosures. Because if you're really actively listening and you're not thinking about what to say next, you are present. You can gather all the data. You can make notes, mostly mental notes. I don't like to put papers and put distractions, especially cell phones. And then once I get all that information, now I have all the pieces to the puzzle. Giving you a visual here. Once I have the pieces of the puzzle, it is my job, the problem fixer, to find a way to craft a solution that helps the seller get out of this pre-foreclosure situation, get on with their life, and give them peace of mind and certainty. I always emphasize, I'm going to give you options as the seller. I'm definitely going to give you your dignity, and I'm going to give you the ultimate control of when you want to leave this house so you can choose a place you want to live. You can pack up reasonable time, and especially if you have kids or elderly people you're taking care of, our most important thing I can get across to them is you can do it on your terms if you choose to work with me early. The sooner you can make a decision on getting this house sold, the more options I can give you. You see, someone like, well, I don't understand. I go, well, the problem is if you wait towards the end of pre-foreclosure, your equity gets stripped out, you get more pressure from the bank, lawyers are beating on you. If you want to do court appearances, you can do that. And then at the very end, people are going to circle your house taking pictures that were never invited, and it's very uncomfortable. At the very end, the sheriff's going to escort you out with your belongings. You're going to have a short amount of time. I don't think you want that, correct? And I just be quiet. They go, absolutely not. So it's most important we make decisions early in the pre-foreclosure process, because if you wait till the very end when there's an auction, there's usually very little I can do. You're usually not going to get any money, and you're most likely going to get a judgment and get kicked out of your house. That is the worst case scenario, and I don't want that to happen to you. I don't scare people, but I do give them the truth, because most people procrastinate in pre-foreclosure. So I want you to hit them the sweet spot. What's the sweet spot? When you can catch them from their first late payment till about month 5. Past that, they tend to start to ignore the problem, and procrastination denial runs rampant, and they will call you a week before the sale and ask for a miracle. And I don't have it. And if you're a new wholesaler, it's particularly challenged because you don't understand the legal system completely. I'm not a lawyer. You're not a lawyer. And the last thing I want you to do is fork money out to hire a lawyer, because the seller's certainly not going to do it. Remember, it's their problem, not yours. You're trying to solve it. If we do this early, we have options. We do it late, there's very, very few options left. And that's why I'm emphasizing to you, I want to help you. Remember, my job is to help the seller get out of their own way. I can't fix everybody in pre-foreclosure. And I know you think you can on the other side, but there's some people that just don't want your help. They think they know it all. Just move on to the next person that truly wants your help. The beautiful thing about wholesaling is you get to pick and choose who you want to work with. Sometimes people just don't want our help. It's just the wrong time and the wrong place for them. Don't take it personally. So the last thing comes to selling your pre-foreclosure. So once you have it under contract and you got the right price, I'm telling you, the most important thing you can do is stay in contact with your seller. So many new wholesalers get a great price and then they just ignore the seller for a month or two, only to find out the seller filed bankruptcy. But by the way, if they file a bankruptcy while you're under contract, your deal's dead. So the most important thing you can do is stay in contact with them. And you have to help them in their process of moving out of the house. They're moving their stuff. And sometimes you have to support, encourage, and keep them in their lane to moving forward. Remember, we made a commitment, so you had options. You're getting money out of this deal, and you get to move at the time of your choice, but you have to move. And we have to guide them. How do you do that? You stay in contact with them. Ready for this? Weekly. I know that sounds painful, but it's what's needed to be done to keep your deal alive. And remember this, if your seller ghosts you or it falls apart, your deal's dead. Oh, I can record a memorandum. No, you can't. Not for people in distress. That will blow up on you and make you personally liable, and you do not want to go down that avenue. People in distress have rights. You recording anything on public record while they're in a lawsuit is nothing but a complete disaster for you. Don't do that. You need their cooperation all the way to the end. And no matter how many disclosures you had them sign, you need them to show up to sign that deed over to get a successful pre-foreclosure wholesaling deal. Now, when it comes to selling, know their tolerance for bringing in cash buyers, but most people in pre-foreclosure are eager to get rid of the house, and they understand you're working with partners. Set up times, understand their flexibility with it. And one of the beautiful things about pre-foreclosures is if you catch them early, you have time to bring your cash buyers through to buy your contracts. Because if you don't have an auction date set or anything like that, you want to get it done in a timely manner. But remember, the seller also wants time to move. So sometimes you can have 2 to 4 or even 5 months to get your deal sold. It is perfect for a new wholesaler because you're helping the person out in pre-foreclosure. You're getting the cash buyer a great deal on a contract, and you are solving a big problem, and you're getting paid proportionately. So guys, don't be scared of doing pre-foreclosures, especially as a newer wholesaler. Honestly, for the reasons I've just mentioned in this video, these things are perfect. Understand there is a lot of drama involved in these. Make sure you're working with people that you have a path to a profit. I mean, make sure there's somewhat equity left in the house, because if there's little to no equity in the beginning, at the very end, there will definitely be nothing left. And listen, we had a short sale windfall back in the early 2010s. Honestly, those days are over. They're painful, they're slow, and they're extremely restrictive. And most of them don't qualify for wholesaling because they make you hold the property for 3 months. So go out, get your pre-foreclosure list. Either go to the courthouse, get it online, go into xleads.com, get it, and go help these people out. Listen, if you are in a position where you truly want to help people pre-foreclosures, guys, let's face it, end buyers can't help out people in pre-foreclosures. Realtors definitely can't help them out. Wholesalers are perfect for this niche. Go out and get your pre-foreclosure list. Guys, watch this video once or twice to make sure you have the proper steps. And listen, if you enjoyed this video and you got a heads up on doing pre-foreclosures, do me a favor. Can you share this video? And do me a favor, just punch that subscribe button. And heck, just smash me a like if you like Rick. That's payment enough for me, guys. I love you guys watching these videos. I want to help you out. I remember just like I started wholesaling yesterday, and I will always look out for the wholesaler because, guys, it is a special gift we have. And if you're on this journey with me and Zach, I want to help you. Go over to freewholesaling.com to find out more. This is Rick Ginn. I'll see you in the next video.